Hey, what's going on, guys? So today's video, I have a ton of stuff to talk about. In this video, I'm going to hack this knife. What do I mean by that? I'm going to give you guys ideas on how to actually take this knife apart, put it back together a different way, and have a completely different knife. So this way it gives you 3 different knives in one, essentially. I'm also going to talk about the critiques you guys gave me, a lot of good, positive critiques. Even people who didn't like the design, you know, they're like, hey, I don't like it, it's not my style, but, you know, good job, congrats. I totally appreciate the support. And also, thank you so much to all the people who did buy one. It does support me. If my design gets out there, more people see it, more people use it, it increases the chances of me making more knives in the future, or at least, you know, giving ideas for knife designs. And that also brings me to the third point here, and that is I need you guys to give me more feedback, because it looks like it's likely that I'm going to have another knife made in the future, probably done in sometime in the new year, to kind of kick off the new year, which is awesome. And I have a ton of ideas. However, I want you guys to narrow down the direction, because if you guys are the ones that are going to be buying these and interested in it, I want to know what you want. So I want you guys to write a comment, and if you see a comment, start thumbing it up. I don't, you know, it's harder if there's a 1,000 of the same comment as opposed to one comment that everyone agrees with. It makes it easier for me to see those. But I want to know a couple things. For the next knife design that I do, and I have designs for all different types of knives, do you want a neck knife? Do you want a regular medium-sized fixed blade? Or do you want a regular folder? Okay, something that's more modern, single blade, you know, frame lock or something along those lines. So write your comment down below. If you see a comment you like, give it a thumbs up. Whatever has the most thumbs ups, that is the direction I will go. All right, like I love to make a neck knife that's me. It screams me. You guys know I'm obsessed with neck knives. I love to make a perfect one, or at least what I would consider it to be perfect. But I know not everyone carries neck knives. So would it be more popular or better if I made a folder? You know, just a regular folder that you guys are already carrying, just a different design? Or would you guys prefer a fixed blade? You know, the fixed blades are obviously easier for international viewers, you know, for shipping purposes and for them to have it legally and carry them. So give me your opinions and your ideas down below, and I'll run with whatever is most popular, if that makes sense. And then as time goes on, I can do all that stuff and more. But the next knife, I definitely want more people to enjoy. This was, like I said, it was a 15-plus-year-old design. I always wanted to do it. Now that I did it, it's done. All right, there are a few left. You guys are interested. The S35VN version, there's only a handful. There's like 10 or less. All right, so if you were interested in a knife, jump on it as soon as possible. If you wanted one of the other ones, there's a couple dozen of those left. All right, but once they're gone, they're gone. A lot of people said, like, okay, well, if I like the design, but if you tweak it, if you do this or if you do that, I'd probably get one. That's cool too, I appreciate it. But this particular design, this is it. I'm never gonna make anything like this again. All right, I have so many different ideas, such a variety of ideas, that this is it. Once these are sold out, that's it. I'm not making this ever again. All right, so if you are interested, get them while they last, because once they're sold out, that's it. I'm moving on, you know what I mean? I love to do a lot of different designs in smaller quantities. Someone else said too, like, hey, why don't you have like 1,000 of them available? Well, if I did that, then it would take longer to sell, and then I wouldn't be able to do more designs. I'd rather do these like kind of sprint runs, you know, like some other companies do, where it's just super limited. People have interest, it's cool, but once they're done, I have the opportunity of making more and more designs. I think it's better to have more designs and less quantity of each, as opposed to come up with one design and making, you know, 50,000 of them. So, all that being said, let's talk about some of the critiques. So as far as this particular design, I know it wasn't going to be everyone's bag. You know what I mean? Not everyone was going to be into this kind of knife. I just wanted to do something that was just very different. Like I said before, it's always been my idea to do something like this, and that's why I ran with it. One thing that people said was that they were kind of confused in why I did the more fine tip blade as the locking blade or main blade, as opposed to, you know, the secondary blade being a slip joint. Because in the video I mentioned that you have a fine tip, but if you didn't want to use the fine tip, you can use, you know, the other blade style. And it's a good feedback. It's a good critique. You would think logically, yeah, you'd want the less, you know, fine blade or the more delicate blade to be the slip joint blade. So they're basically swapping them. So this was the flipper blade and the other one wasn't. The idea behind this knife was that this secondary blade is not being used. That's what I'm thinking of when I'm designing this, is that I wanted a very fine, very pointy blade, okay? That's lockable, so you don't have to worry about that closing or anything like that. Me mentioning that if this is too fine, you can use the other blade, I didn't really mean for harder use. I just mean if you have something that's not quite as delicate, or if you think there's a possibility of damaging that and you are in a pinch and this is the only knife you have, at least you do have a secondary blade for that. And God forbid you do snap the tip off or something, you do have a secondary blade. So this design to me was like, you kind of forget about this knife and you only use this blade. But if you're out and about and you go to cut something and it's dull, you have that option of having a brand new, totally sharp secondary cutting edge. That was the idea behind it, the concept behind it. But it is a really good critique. You know, obviously, if I saw this knife and I didn't design it, I may think that myself. But that was the kind of, you know, how I picture people using this is day in and day out, you're using this to cut your regular stuff, and if it ever went dull, you have that second blade on you. All right, I thought that was a cool thing. Something else people critiqued about, someone mentioned the back spacer. It would be nicer if it was all the way up here. In other words, this was enclosed and not have such a long open area. I agree that it would look nicer, but again, just, you know, for me, how I wanted it was this to be open just so that dust and dirt and lint and stuff could be easily blown out. Because this is, you know, a liner lock, I didn't want that getting gunked up easily and then the lock failing or anything like that. What else? Some people said it was too small. That's a critique. That's just like a preference thing. When I think traditional knives, I don't generally think big. There are certainly some huge trappers and big canoes, and like the elephant toenail, for example. That's a huge knife in general. They're scraping snow outside. That's what that noise is. Anyway, yeah, I mean, I thought it just makes sense as far as the overall size goes. Also, some people didn't like the fact that there's no pocket clip. That's a very rare one. I got a couple messages on Instagram about that, like, oh, I would have bought it if it had a pocket clip. Totally understand. A lot of the critiques are just personal preference. And that's why people say, like, well, I don't really need the second blade. If you just had a single blade, then maybe I'd get it, this, that, and the other. And that's totally fine. I do appreciate all the feedback. It's kind of funny because as I'm reading the comments and people are kind of critiquing it and talking about different things, and maybe you should have done this, or maybe I would have bought it if it was like this. I've spent over 10 years critiquing other people's designs. You know, obviously when you create something, you're proud of it, and then when people say like, ah, it should have been like this or like that, maybe your initial like reaction is to be a little defensive, but I was totally neutral. I totally understand it. Like I said, I've been dishing it out for 10 plus years, telling knife makers what they could have done better. So you think I'd be able to accept it a little bit too, which I'm totally cool with. So I do appreciate all the feedback. It just helps me in the future if I want to do, you know, more knife designs and different things. But you can take this knife completely apart. All right, the huge benefit for that obviously is for cleaning and stuff, but something that kind of dawned on me is that this knife is literally just layered parts, okay? So you have your bolster piece, and by the way, when you take these knives apart, like for example, you take the scale off, you're gonna see a hidden screw over here, which keeps the frame together and so forth, all right? So if you do decide to take this apart, take pictures, you know, along the way, because there's a lot of parts here and you don't wanna forget how things go back together. But we have a scale, we have a bolster, okay, then we have a lining or liner piece, then we have a spacer piece here, we have the blade. If you take this knife apart and when you go to put it back together, if you can get a smaller set of hardware, a shorter set of screws, the pivot screw, all these body screws, everything else, and I'm actually talking to Bashing Gear right now if they can come up with some kind of a kit for this, because I'm not sure if this is possible. This is really just an idea. I didn't try this yet myself because I don't have the hardware. But theoretically, because these are just parts, if you were to take this apart and take out, say, one of the blades and the mechanism, whether it's the liner lock or it's the back spring, for example, for the other blade, and put it back together without those parts, you would have a single bladed knife. So again, in theory, you could take the knife apart, put it back together with shorter hardware and have just the flipper. Okay, so this back scale, the bolster and everything would be on this, and it would just be the single bladed knife, like some people wanted. Some people just wanted to see a single bladed flipper. It would be, you know, obviously thinner. You wouldn't have those other parts in there. And it just gives you that option. Or you can go the opposite direction, and let's say you live in a country where you can't carry a locking blade or something. you can have just a slip joint blade. All right, so you literally just have this as a knife, all right, and the flipper, that whole thing's gone. You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense? So it's just one of those things I was thinking about. So I'm not 100% sure if this is possible yet, but I did want to mention it. So when you guys do start knife orders start arriving and you guys are playing with this, if you're a little, savvy and you have some different hardware laying around, or you know how to tinker with knives a little bit, it might be something to play around with. Maybe you can get 3 different knives in one. So it'd be the knife as you get it with the 2 blades, or you can set it up so it's just the single flipper liner lock, or it's just the slip joint. I think that's awesome. So again, I'm trying to work with Bash & Gears to see if they can come up with some kind of a kit. I'm also asking them about different scales. Who knows, maybe I can do some kind of kit together with the scale. These are just ideas I'm just kind of running with, but I definitely wanted to mention it in this video. Also, in the first video, I didn't really talk about grips too much. Something I wanted to mention, but when I turn the camera on, I'm literally turning the camera on just talking. So even when I do knife reviews, sometimes I'll focus on one thing and forget to talk about something else. Just is what it is. I have a natural presentation, I guess. Some people like that. Some people might prefer if it was, if I had bullet points. I don't know. I do things how I do them. But I did want to mention the grip on here. All right, so when you have just the main flipper blade out, all right, that flipper obviously doubles as a little bit of a guard. It's not going to keep your hand from slipping too much, but it does give you that grip where your finger stops there. All right, and although there's no jimping anywhere on this knife, there is a little bit of a ramp here. Okay, that's purposely put there so you have a thumb rest. It's very comfortable to use, very comfortable to hold on to it like this. When you have just the other blade out, what's kind of interesting is that that flat end ends up being where your pointer finger lands, and the base of the flipper ends up almost like another guard, okay, like a back guard. So naturally my thumb sits right here, and this does prevent your hand from sliding forward. All right, so when you're cutting with this, it gives you a nice grip like this. Of course, you can choke up on it. If you choke up for the back, let's say you are whittling a piece of wood or something like that, it doesn't really get in the way at all either. It's something I wanted to mention. Now, I want to talk quickly about the shipping. There was a lot of international interest in this knife, and I thank you so much for being patient. I believe the company's website is not set up for international orders. That's why you have to email them so they can get a specific shipping quote to you, because obviously shipping is going to cost, a different amount. So if you are international and you want to order these, I'll put links down in the description box for you guys to click on to order them while they're still left. But if you are international, please read the little excerpt I have in the description box to what to do. You have to send your information, via email so they can give you a proper quote for what shipping is going to be. Once again, guys, thank you so much for all the support. Whether you bought a knife or didn't, I see so many positive comments and so much positive feedback. I am really, really excited, that now that I have a knife design out there, I can just start working on more and get lots of different knives in people's hands that I've always imagined. You know what I mean? It's a dream come true, honestly. My ultimate dream is to start making my own knives, but it's a great stepping stone to get my ideas out there, and it's just super cool. I appreciate all the support. Even if you don't comment, don't forget to read them and thumbs up on the ideas that you like. Tell me what knives you want, and I'll make them. Hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I will see you tomorrow. Take care.